Hello and welcome to the Manifest to Live Life Golden Show. This is episode 85. These are the most important laws to know about to help you with your manifestation game. So if you've ever heard me talk about the laws of the universe, I do have an episode 44 that goes into all 12 laws. Today I'm breaking it down. We're just going to do a couple of them. We're going to hit them hard. We're going to hit them deep. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to apply them to your life so that you can become stronger at manifesting. That's what it's all about, baby. We're going to get better at playing this game of life. We're going to get better at creating a journey that serves us, that actually allows us to be joyful, that allows us to feel fulfillment, that allows us to get up every day and go, hooray, I get another day to create. So let's dive in. So the very first law that I'm going to take is the law. Actually, you know what? I looked into like the backgrounds of the laws of the universe, and they were actually formulated from Hawaiian cultures, and they go back to even Egyptian times. So these laws are long, they're from ages ago. And so they've been around for a long, long time. Also, they're scientifically based. There's a science behind manifesting and energy, and they've done scientific study. And that's the part that gets me really excited, is that we have solid evidence that this stuff works. And when I have solid evidence and I have a plan and I have a formula for creating, it makes it so much easier. The part that gets in our way with manifesting is our emotional field. It's the triggers, it's the things that we haven't healed. And you all know I talk about that at length. So if you were just to take the manifestation game and you were to take out all of your human conditions, all of your, relationships, all of the things that you're dealing with on a daily basis, and you were just to get up every day and be hyper focused on what you're looking to create, what that desire is in your heart, and you didn't let anything get in the way, you didn't let negative emotions get in the way, you didn't let doubt get in the way, you didn't let anything get in the way, you would be a very powerful manifestor. I was actually chatting with someone that I'm working with right now, and I was like, imagine a world where you let that stuff go. Imagine a world where that doesn't bum you out. And I have shared before about my weight loss journey and the roller coaster ride that I've been on, and we had some changes in our life recently, and it really goes to show how life needs to change. Like, life is always moving. I'm going to get to that law, I promise. But I want to share just a personal story, because you all know how much I love my gym. You know how much I love working out. You know that I go there every day. And just last week, we found out that our whole gym situation just changed, and there was some legal issues, and the gym was sold to a partner that we don't appreciate, that did some terrible things to good friends of ours. And we decided to pull out. And this happened within like a very few days. Like, it was like, that's it. It's over. We're going somewhere else. And that was really somewhat traumatic. As much as that sounds like a first world problem, it was a little bit. I mean, this is every day of my life for almost 3 years. Almost, I've gone to this place that I love, and I have friends there, and I look forward to it. And what I realized was, through like the last day that we were there, and I was really trying to hold it together, and I was really having a hard time, like, knowing this is the last time I'm ever going to probably step foot in this place that it literally called home for 3 years. It was a lot. It was a lot emotionally, and I had to process it, and I had to go home, and I had to be okay with it. And my mantra through the whole thing was, change is good. Change is necessary. Change is good. And it will lead to more. It will lead to better things. So, we're a part of this boutique gym, and it was wonderful. And we had a personal trainer, and we had a group class, and we did that every day. And it was super intense workouts. And it was like 6 days a week. And so we decided that when we went away to Vegas, we had an amazing time in Vegas. We saw Earth, Wind, and Fire, which was incredible. We saw David Blaine, the magician, and we saw the water Cirque du Soleil. Highly recommend all of them. So we decided when we got home, we were going to go find a gym, because we basically had canceled our membership at the other gym. So, change is good. Change is really, really good. And it's something that we all need to look at. It's so wonderful to live in our comfort zones. It's so wonderful. But sometimes the universe will do you a solid and will take something away that wasn't necessarily feeding what you said you wanted. So I noticed over time there were things that we were feeling unhappy about, and that was the workouts were extremely tense. There was a lot of weight training every single day. And both of us my husband and I are both in this element of really wanting to, maintain our strength, maintain our bodies and not break them down. And injury is a thing, right? When you overtrain. So that was one concern. Another concern I had was that the cardio situation, there wasn't a lot of cardio, and my body loves cardio. I do really well with cardio. I do a really good when I have a mix of cardio and strength training. So that's something that I've been asking for. And every day we were kind of getting up and not really being too excited about going, even though we loved it and it was a place we always went. We weren't, I decided it was interesting on the last day. A couple things happened on the last day that I was there. It was actually the last day of our cousin's job there. He ended up putting in his notice, and unbeknownst to him that all this was going on, he put in his notice, and his last day was our last day, which was really interesting. So he starts and he puts this really terrible music on that I can't stand. It's the music I say that it makes me want to punch a baby. It's like really hard rock. It's low vibration. I just have a really hard time with it. People screaming. And so I looked at my husband and I was like, I can't do this. Like I felt like I was going to break down. So I got through that and I was like, wow, you know what? He's doing me a favor. Here you go. New perspective. He's doing me a favor. He's putting on music I don't like. And he's making this last situation kind of suck for me so that I'm okay with letting it go. So that came instantly. Like I had that download instantly. And then the second thing that happened was we were on the treadmill. My husband and I were on the treadmill running, doing our own thing because the workout, we weren't feeling the workout. And we're running and a Dave Matthews song comes on, and it's So Much to Say. And we used to run to that when we worked out at our old gym like 15 years ago, and we did our own workouts. We did our own workouts together and we weren't doing group training. And I was like, this is a sign. I've never heard this song here. It's so interesting that he played it today. This is a sign it's time to go. Because we were still kind of like, should we go? And, we were still trying to decide. And I'm like, this is our sign. So a couple things, the universe, if you're watching the energy, the universe will always show you the way. It always knows best and it will show you the way. And if you're awake and aware and you're not in resistance, like I wasn't in a bunch of resistance, kicking and screaming, I don't want to leave this place. There was a little part of me that felt that way, that couldn't believe this was over after such an amazing journey with so many wonderful friends and good times. I was paying attention to the energy field and I knew I could feel within my own spirit that this was time to let this thing go. So we started looking around and came to the idea that we were going to join Lifetime Fitness, which is really interesting because it's like a freaking resort. Like we can't believe how much stuff is in this gym. And for the same amount of money that we were paying at the little boutique gym, our whole family can be a part of it. In fact, for less, our whole family can be a part of it. So they have swimming pools, they have yoga. I mean, they just have everything. And we hit a group training class this morning there that was all the cardio we had been asking for, maybe even a little too much cardio. And we had a great time. And it's different and it's wonderful and it was scary. It was scary. I was totally out of my comfort zone going there yesterday, just telling myself change is good, change is good. And soon enough you're going to walk into this place just like you walked into your old place and it's going to be like home. So, embrace change because changes are good. Trust the universe because the universe knows what's best for you. I am so thankful for my journey with our old gym, and my journey with my new gym is going to be even more powerful and more exciting. I had been asking for a new community, to be with new people, to engage. I'm home a lot, so that means a lot to me to be around new people. And our old gym had started to get a little stale and there really wasn't as many people going as we used to be with, and it was just getting less and less, and this is more and more. So that's pretty freaking cool. So moving forward in this laws of the universe, that is all about energy conduction. It's all about embracing change and no longer being in resistance. That when something is taken away from you, there is a very powerful purpose and it's going to serve you. So check yourself, check your disappointments. My daughter the other day was going trick-or-treating. This is funny and not funny, but interesting. So she had texted me and she said, oh, her friend she was supposed to go trick-or-treating with, they have the stomach bug. She didn't know what to do. Her daughter was going to be super disappointed. So her daughter is 5. My grandbaby is 5. And I just said, you know what? Disappointment is good. It's good for our kids to experience disappointment and know how to navigate it. And the universe knows what's best for you. She loves you. She loves being with you. I'm sure she's going to be fine with the fact that she can't be with her friends and she just has to be with her mom alone. I'm sure she's going to be fine with that. So she ends up, they texted or something, and the woman said, oh, we're feeling better. And I don't think it was a stomach bug. I think it was actually food. And so she ends up doing the 45-minute drive to their house, and they end up, you know, being really slow or whatever. And my daughter ends up being alone with her daughter anyway. So I'm like, the universe always knows. And when we're super in resistance and we're fighting it all the time, we're not going with the flow of energy. So, like, work on not closing yourself off. When something happens, open yourself up. That's what I did at the gym that day. I mean, that was a shocking revelation that all of a sudden I wasn't going to go there anymore. It was shocking. It was actually, it was challenging for me. But to open myself up and to look for the signs and to go, yeah, it's time to go, is the greatest way to navigate life and the disappointments and things that are happening for you. They're absolutely happening for you. And we're going to get to the law about that. All right, so the first law I want to jump into is the law of vibration. I love the law of vibration. I love talking about frequency. I always put it out there to you guys where it's radio station. What radio station are you dialed into? Everything in the universe is in constant motion. It's constantly vibrating. Every single thing has energy and is vibrating at a certain frequency, including you. Personal frequency is based on your mood. It's based on your internal dialogue. It's based on what you say, what you believe. And remember, your emotions are energy in motion. So that law of vibration means you can never be stuck because you're always in motion. Think about your body. Think about what's happening in your body, the cells, the oxygen, the blood pumping, all of that stuff is in constant motion. So if that's true and you are always vibrating, the reason why you may feel stuck sometimes is because you're vibrating at the same frequency day in and day out. You get up and you feel the same way. You get up and you think the same way. You get up and you say the same things. And that is why you feel stuck. So if you've got a situation, let's take weight loss since we're on that subject, and you've, been in this situation with your body for a long time and you've been feeling stuck and you're like, I don't know why I can't move forward. This is what I would do. And this is what I've done. And it was really interesting because the other day I went on an InBody machine because I had to take my measurements down for this new trainer. And he said, you don't have to look at it if you don't want to. And I said, you know what? I'm over it. I'm fine. I can look at it. And I looked at it, and basically it told me that I've gained a little bit, but I've maintained. And it didn't throw me into a tailspin whatsoever. I was totally fine with it. So when it comes to your weight in your body, notice what you're saying to it. Notice how you feel about it. Notice the frequency that you're in with it. Are you obsessive about it? Or does it cause you a lot of misery? Are you constantly like looking in the mirror and hating yourself? All of those things are a frequency and you're dialed into it. And guess what's on those frequencies? The frequencies of hating your body are the same frequencies as that junk food. It's the same frequencies as emotional eating. It's the same frequencies as binging or starving yourself. Hating yourself is that frequency. So, in order to change that vibratory frequency in your life, you've got to get on a new station with it. So, this is what I did. I started to let things go. I stopped critiquing myself constantly in the mirror. I started having gratitude for the fact that I can get up and walk around. I started going for walks. Going for walks in nature is movement forward, right? Feeling the beautiful air, noticing how my body feels. Whenever you let yourself go into your body and out of your head, you're actually creating a connection between your body and and your spirit. You're putting yourself in a place where the mind doesn't have control over you anymore. So it's interrupting those thoughts. If you've got a lot of momentum with that, it may be some journaling that you need to do. This is how I feel about my body. This is how I want to feel about my body. And then it's interrupting those thoughts so you can get into a new frequency with your body. The higher frequencies of loving yourself and loving your body, that's where all the healthy food is. That's where the exercise is. That's where the energy to do the things you say you want to do is. That's where the decision is. So if you're finding yourself blowing off your workouts a lot, you have to get into a different frequency. That frequency of decision and commitment is super strong, and it's going to assist you on that journey of doing what you say you want to do. I do not think about exercise. I just do it. I know that my mind is super powerful, and I have created such an automatic habit. Same thing with meditating. I've created such an automatic habit that it rarely doesn't get done because it's like brushing my teeth. I don't ask myself if I'm going to brush my teeth today. I hope you don't. Good hygiene. It's important. I don't ask myself if I'm going to take a shower every day. I just shower every day. It's just what I do. So when you do that with exercise and loving yourself and tuning a frequency towards a healthy, fit, strong body, you're going to find yourself in that position. Now, when it comes to money, if you've got a low frequency about money, man, do I have lots of stories about momentum with low frequency with money. Notice how you feel when you spend it. Notice how you feel when your bills come. Notice how you feel when you grocery shop. Grocery shopping has gone up exponentially. I'm not going to lie. Gas prices have gone up exponentially. If you continue to feel constricted, like there's not enough, that you don't have any control, you are in victim mode with your finances, and that frequency is going to give you more reasons to feel that way. So you got to get out of that frequency. How do you do it? You got to start letting shit go. You got to let go of the worries. You got to let go of the anxieties. Listen, it always works out. It always works out. So, in order for us to really connect with the abundance that is here for us, the opportunities that are here to create that abundance, we have to let go of the worries, the anxieties, the feelings that we're not enough and that we don't have enough. And you just do that gradually by replacing it. So, you look at where you are now, write that down, and then you write down how you want to feel, and then you see how many times a day you can interrupt those anxious feelings and put yourself in a higher frequency. Sometimes you can't do it with money, sometimes you can't do it with your body, sometimes you just got to forget it altogether and go to a different subject because that subject has so much momentum and maybe a lot of fear involved. You just have to let it go. Trust me, I've done it so many times. All right. So that's the law of vibration. So notice the frequencies that you're in. There are things that you can do to raise your frequency. One is meditation, that will clear the slate for you. Another is music. Music is vibrational as long as it's not that low vibrational stuff. High vibe music, stuff that makes you feel good. Dancing, moving your body, yoga, exercise, all of these things are going to download beautiful hormones and chemicals that are going to help you to feel excellent. Walks in nature, can't say that one enough. Walking in nature to me is putting yourself in the highest vibration possible. Think about it. Trees, birds, sky, wind, dirt, all of it is of a pure quality, a pure essence that will instill you to be in a higher vibrational frequency. If you are not on that walk and thinking about all the crap you have to do and your worries, if you are truly mindful and present, that walk is going to mean a lot to you. It's going to do a lot for you. Other things are hugs. We're supposed to get like 8 hugs a day. And when you hug people, there's all these wonderful chemicals, hormones, immune system boosters that download in your body. So hugs are super important. They're the easiest thing to do and the easiest thing not to do. I mean, we've got a family full of people here, and we are, committed to hugging one another at least once a day. I mean, that's only 3 hugs for me. So we really gotta focus more on the hugging, the loving, the being mindful and present to one another instead of always being in our to-do list. Those are things that can raise your frequency. Taking a bath, doing a sound bath, listening to something positive. All of those things can help you to get in a new frequency. If you're finding every day that you're waking up and your vibration is super low, like you've got a job you don't like, or your family is intense or stressful, the greatest thing that I would suggest is making a positive list of what you love either before you go to sleep or when you get up in the morning, about each person, about each activity in your day. If you're waking up in constant dread, you got to start changing things. The first thing you got to change is the way you're thinking about it, and promote a lot of gratitude, because gratitude and appreciation are your highest frequencies. When it comes to kids, if you are stressed out, getting ready for the bus. This is the best thing I've ever done. So back in the East Coast, we had buses. Here we do not. Here we had to drive our kids to school and wait in a line for 20 minutes. So if you have a bus coming to your door, be grateful for that, because I was like, this is the most inefficient system I've ever seen in my life. When I moved to California, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is my morning every day, fighting cars and traffic and getting in the school line and sitting here and waiting for 20 minutes. It's crazy. But back east, we had a bus that literally came to our front door. And my daughter was like consistently missing it. So I realized one morning that I had, all the control over the way our morning was going, and that I would wake up stressed out because I had to wake her up. I had to get her ready. It was all on me. And the energy I was bringing to it was real funky. So I decided to sit her down and have a conversation with her. I think she was like 8 or 9 at this time, and have a conversation with her. And I've done this with my kids throughout the years, like even as they got older, and just say, look, this is not working for me. I don't want to wake up every day and feel this way. I don't want this energy in our home. I don't want to send you to school stressed out. How can we change this? What can we do for you? What can you do? What can I do? What can we do together to promote a really peaceful morning? And things really started to shift after that. And we would lay out our clothes at night. I mean, there were certain things that we could do that really helped her. And even putting time limits on stuff, like, okay, you need to brush your teeth by this time, and helping them to take the responsibility, especially as they get to 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. They are perfectly capable of doing this. And it becomes less of a power struggle when they feel a little bolstered up because they have a responsibility. They're meeting a clock. I mean, I don't know, do races. Races are fun. We used to do races all the time. We would do that with PJs at night because they didn't want to put their PJs on. So we'd be like, all right, I'll time you. Let's see how long it takes to get your PJs on and brush your teeth. That works great. I mean, anything you can do to be creative with kids on the mundane is going to help everybody, because it's going to be a lot less stress. If you are constantly harping and nagging on your kids, good Lord, I can imagine your house is not really that fun. You have to start giving a little bit of the power and the control back to them, and ask them. I've always find it so interesting with parenting, how often people will say, well, she's not doing this and he's not doing that, and I can't get him to do this, and I can't. And I'm like, have you ever talked to him? Have you ever talked to them about what they're going through, or why they don't like bringing the garbage out, or how you could make it easier, or how we could make it more of a game, or s- bring stickers in. Kids love stickers. I don't know, something to help them get involved with the decision making is one of the best things I think I ever figured out with my kids. That power and control is just it's a losing game. Somebody's always going to be in power, and somebody's always going to be less than powerful, and we want to empower our kids to be more. All right, so the law of correspondence. And that also goes along with as your kids get older, because they're going to call you and they're going to still want you to do things, and they're going to still want to push their responsibilities back on you. And when you start to kind of let go a little bit, like disengage a little bit, not support them, but say, I'm here for you, but I want to see if you can figure it out. We don't rush in to rescue our kids anymore the way we used to. We're like, well, let's see what manifests from this. If you're having trouble paying that bill, let's just see. If it's not due today, let's just see what happens and see if something manifests. And God, it always does. It absolutely always does. And that's what shows them their power, not you swooping in and rescuing them, because that puts a lot of stress on you as well. So moving, creating some space and saying, you're a powerful manifestor, honey. Let's just see what happens. Because if I come in and rescue you, you don't get to see those miracles. You don't get to see what the universe has in store for you. And then I'm doing everyone a disservice by trying to rescue everybody. And then I'm getting resentful, right? All right. So now that's the law of vibration. The second law is the law of correspondence, which I also really love. This is our reality is a mirror of what we have going on inside. Think of your internal world as a written letter to the universe. The thing that says, yes, I want more of this. That's the law of correspondence. It's like telling the universe, I want more of this. So if you're in control of your emotional field and you're really aware of your thoughts and your feelings, it's being able to kind of rise above it and say, okay, I could have kicked and screamed about this gym thing and said it's really unfair. And I could have gotten really upset and really angry and really resentful. And instead, I just took a moment. I took some space. I took some breathing room. And I just asked myself, what good can come from this? It's something that I love. Like what great thing is going to manifest from this? And something really great did. So the law of correspondence is that is those things you have going on inside, that conversation you got going on, that shitty committee you got going on inside, whatever you have going on inside, and you get to choose. You get to say, okay, I'm starting to feel resentful. If you can catch it in the beginning, God bless you. That's the best thing you can do. Catch it in the beginning and say, I'm about to be resentful. Do I want more of this? I'm about to be angry. Do I want more of this? We don't go from 0 to anger usually, unless we've already been, uh, we've already been greasing the wheel of anger. Usually there's things that lead up to it, things that we're pushing down, things we're pushing away, things we're trying to distract ourselves from. So the best thing we can do is ask ourselves, how do I want to feel? And what kind of letter am I writing to the universe? Am I writing a letter of a bunch of complaints? Am I fussing all the time? Am I feeling like I can't manifest because everybody around me is driving me crazy? Like, am I in that element of this house is driving me crazy and my nerves are frayed? If you're in that place with work or family or life in general, you've got to take a break. You got to take some space. You got to do some healing work. You've got to do some self-care in order to come back into a place of alignment where you're not going to be writing some nasty letters to the universe. Like, think about it. All that commentary that you have going on in your head, think about it as if you're writing it to the universe. Seriously, because you are. Because everything in your internal world is being reflected by your outer world. And you will always see evidence of what you're feeling inside. And if you're really super aware, you'll look at that and you'll go, yep, that's exactly how I was feeling. So the law of correspondence is one that says it's happening for you. It's not happening to you. And I love that because it's happening for me means every disappointment, everything that didn't work out, all the things that are happening are for me, for my expansion, for my growth, and for greater things to happen. Change is wonderful. Change is good. That's been my mantra the last couple of days. Even though it's scary, even though I feel a little out of my element with this giant gym and all of this equipment and all of the things that I now need to figure out. I've got new people to connect with. That can be, especially if you're not super social, that can be very daunting. So now it's just about shining my light. It's about showing up. It's about figuring things out. It's about getting comfortable with a new situation. It's getting out of that comfort zone. So it's happening for you. What is this asking me to heal is always a great question. It's always a great question because when you feel triggered, you are always being invited to heal something. Where is my stuff in this is another great question I love to ask, especially when we're in relationships and we are tending to blame someone. When we are starting to do the blame game, we cannot actually learn. We cannot grow from the blame game. So we have to just back up a little bit and say, where is my stuff in this? Is there any of my stuff in this? Or is this person just having a day? Like, are they just having an issue and it's not really about me? That is really necessary for our own expansion and growth. All right. So the law of attraction, that's what this show is all about, right? The law of attraction, like attracts like. Things of a similar nature are drawn to one another. And the reason for that, again, is frequency and vibration. Wherever you're at, you will attract that same energy. This is why, when you're feeling grumpy and you're feeling frustrated, a lot of times you'll meet frustrated people at the grocery store, or frustrated people at the gas station, or, you'll have interactions that are steeped in frustration and anger. When you're having a good day, when you're in a good mood. Do you ever notice this? This happens to me pretty often, where you're just joking around with people like everywhere you go, and you're laughing with random strangers wherever you go, and funny stuff is happening wherever you go. I remember one day, this wasn't too long ago, I was at the grocery store and I was walking out, and there was a giant poodle walking in with like pink shoes on. And I just started laughing hysterically. And I got other people in the parking lot involved laughing hysterically. And it was like, I love this reflection. It's like silliness, it's fun. My life is lighthearted. I mean, if a poodle with pink shoes on doesn't say lighthearted, I don't know what does. So notice that, like notice what's around you, because it's all a reflection of your law of attraction. What am I attracting? Sometimes things come into your life and it truly is like shit just happens. Honestly, it's not always like we should beat ourselves up when we get a flat tire and say, why did I attract that? A lot of times I think that it's like, well, how do you feel about this now? It's kind of an indication of how we're feeling of is how we deal with stuff. So how we deal with that flat tire is so much more meaningful than the actual flat tire. It's so much more obvious than that actual flat tire, because it's telling you, it's showing you how you feel about life's little mishaps. We expect everything to go well all the time. We expect ourselves to stay on schedule. We expect ourselves to get there on time. And sometimes shit happens. How are you going to deal with it? Are you going to flip out? Or are you going to go, all right, guess I got myself a little break. I guess I get to hang out here and wait for AAA, or wait for my husband, or whatever, whatever that flat tire is going to mean to you. Maybe that flat tire happened so you wouldn't have gotten into a terrible car accident. You don't know. And that's why you have to realize that the universe is on your side and all things are turning to good. So it's all happening for you. All right, so law of attraction. I want to talk a little bit deeper about the law of attraction. And so, like attracts likes, you get what you focus upon. So, remember that. So, if you're focused on all the bullshit, if you're focused on the things that are going wrong, you will absolutely create more of that. If you are focused on the problem and the solution have different frequencies. So, you have to get out of the problem. How do you get out of the problem? Sometimes you got to back up from it. Sometimes you just got to stop. Sometimes doing nothing is doing something. You got to go, you know what? I don't know what to do about this problem right now because I don't have enough information. The problem just happened. So I've got to look at it. I got to back up from it, and I got to let the universe show me what energetically I need to do next to solve this problem. When it comes to before you can manifest something, you've got to believe it, right? You got to believe it to achieve it. You got to become it. You got to become that which you seek in order to get on that frequency with it. So how can I become more of that? If I want to manifest something, how would I feel if I already did? How would I act if I already was healthy, strong, and fit? I get up every day excited to go to the gym. I'm pretty excited about these new classes because it's showing me how fit I am. It's showing me how unfit I am too. Like this cardio thing like kicked my ass this morning. However, I kept up with the class, and I actually thought I'm really grateful for these last couple of years that got me into shape. Like I can do a burpee like nobody's business, and that is very empowering, and that aligns with the frequency of I am healthy, strong, and fit. And how cool is that? That's what I wanted, right? That's what I set the intention of 2 years ago, or almost 3 years ago, when I joined that gym. So notice the frequency that you're in, notice what you're seeking, and ask yourself if you can become more of that which you are seeking. Okay, so takers and givers and receivers. So I want to talk about law of attraction in this way. Notice in your life if you are always taking. This came to me recently, and I realized from witnessing a few people that there's imbalances in their field. So instead of being, and this goes both ways, instead of giving to the universe and asking how they can help or what they can do, they're constantly taking. And they often live in victim mode, and they often feel like, the world should be yielding to them, so they're constantly taking, never giving. And when you get into a situation like that, if you see a person doing this in all of their relationships, they're constantly taking, the conversations are one-sided, they're only sharing what's wrong with them and what's happening with them, and they never receive anything from the other person. I've been in so many conversations where I didn't even really need to be there. I sat there like shaking my head going, when is this going to end? Because, and I have a lot of great things to say. And when you're in a conversation like that and people don't want to receive any of what you have to say, it feels very imbalanced and very useless, that quite frankly. So notice in your life if you are doing a lot of taking, first of all, because the universe will balance itself. So if you are constantly taking, things will start getting taken from you. That's what happens when we're in an imbalance. Now, if you're an overgiver, we know lots of people, there's probably more overgivers than there are takers, but I don't know. At least that's what I've experienced in coaching. So if you're a constant giver and you don't know how to receive, you will be imbalanced in that energy field. So constantly giving will deplete you, and it will make you feel less than, and it will make you feel exhausted, and it will fray your nerves. Really easy to do as a young mom if you have young children, or an older mom having young children, a mom at all, a dad at all, anybody with young children. There is so much that they take. There's so much giving that we do that we can often feel imbalanced. And that's why date night is really important. That's why spa day, getting out, self-care, whatever you can do. And if you don't have the finances to do it, you have to create it. So, when your partner gets home, it's leaving that baby, it's going for a walk, whatever you need to do to replenish. We have to stay in balance. So if you're consistently giving and you can't receive, and this is a really good indication of not being able to receive. You can't receive compliments. People give you compliments and you push them away, or you just don't receive them. People try to give you free things and you're like, no, no, no. People try to pay for things. You're like, no, no, no. People go to give you a hug and you run away. I don't know. That imbalance of giving and receiving, notice and maybe even write a list of how much you're giving and how much you're receiving. In every one of your relationships, do this. How much am I giving and how much am I receiving? If that is really super imbalanced, you're going to have issues with manifestation because the scales are consistently out of whack. So then the universe has to come into play to balance them out. So this is how an overgiver may be taken out and have to receive. They'll get injured. Yeah. They'll have to, or they'll have surgery, or they'll get sick. They won't be able to take care of people anymore, and people will have to take care of them. And that is a sucky way to receive. Let me tell you, that's not a great way to receive. So you've got to balance out the scales on your own by receiving compliments, by saying thank you, not by saying this old thing, or I haven't done, I washed my hair today, I don't have any makeup on, whatever. Just to receive it, just say thank you and allow it to help you feel good, help you up level, help you gain more self-confidence. If it comes to taking, what can you give? Can you listen? Can you close your mouth? Can you stop talking about yourself? If you can't, I highly recommend a quieting the mind practice, because you got to slow down. I know people like this and they can't stop. And because of that, they're constantly in the minutia. They're constantly in that to-do list, which just is really life-sucking and draining. So we have a new challenge that started today. If you're in the M21 Revolution on Facebook, you may or may not know that we started a challenge yesterday, November 1st, 2022. If it's past that time, it doesn't matter. You can hop in whenever. What we're doing is we're featuring the posts on the top, so you can start day one whenever you want. And you just click on it and it's going to show you the entire challenge. So Jess and I did a video the other day. It was a two-parter because Facebook Live, but it was fantastic. And this is going to help you to commit for 21 days of quieting your mind. I promise you, you're going to have a wonderful experience from committing to that practice alone. So we have tons of challenges in there. You can always search for challenges. And that's just a great service. It's a free group. We do donation-based challenges. So if you do a donation, if you do a challenge and you want to exchange energy, because that's what it's all about, the giving and the receiving, there are links there where you can actually send a donation for, taking part in this incredible information that's going to change your life. We have law of attraction videos, we have guided meditations in there, we've got a ton of stuff. So that's M21 Revolution on Facebook. Brand new meditation journey just started yesterday yesterday. All right. So that is the law of attraction. And the next law we have is the law of inspired action. I had to put this one in here because I love the law of inspired action, because I've met so many people that are just waiting. They're just waiting for their dreams to come. They're just waiting for things to change. They're just waiting for a new job that they haven't applied for yet. Waiting. Hello. Whenever we are in the energy of waiting, and I'm talking to myself, people, because I've done this before. I waited 4 years to move to California before we actually took the leap of faith. Some of it could have just been getting ready. I'm totally cool with that. That makes me feel better to think about it that way. But when it comes to something you really want to accomplish, you've got to put some sort of action forth to activate energy. So taking real actionable steps to invite what we want into our lives, opening the channel, putting your order in with the universe. Think about Amazon, putting your order in with the universe, practicing becoming more or acting as if, and activating energy, opening channels, right? We were just talking about doing TSA, the thing where you can get on flights faster. And we were just in this really long line in Vegas where we had to be sniffed out by dogs and stuff. And we were kind of up against it with our flight. And it was really interesting because my husband started to get a little frustrated, and our friends that we were with, they had it. So they actually have global entry, which is what we're going to do. So global entry, you can do it. It's international as well. And I thought, you know what? We're going to do this global entry because I want to start traveling. I want to go to Paris. I want to go to Italy. So if I do that, I'm telling the universe, yes, I'm serious. I'm actually getting prepared for it. So we're waiting in this really long line, incredibly long line. Oh my goodness. And my husband starts to get a little antsy and frustrated. And I'm like, it's going to be fine. And I'm texting my friends who are at the gate, and I'm like, it's going to be fine. Everything always works out for us. Just kind of took a deep breath, settled myself, and a new line opened, and we got through way quicker. So it does honestly work. So, it's so cool because you get to see the evidence so fast. So activating that energy, practicing this law is all about slowing down, calming down, quieting your mind, asking for guidance, right? Getting in that intuitive space where you have enough space between your monkey mind, that to-do list, that craziness, that desperate energy, and who you truly are, which is connected to higher consciousness and the guidance of infinite intelligence. Like, don't we want guidance from infinite intelligence? Of course we do, because that's going to tell us, take this road, go this way, get in this line. That's the inspired guidance that we want, that will help us to create from universal flow, universal opportunities, the messages that the universe wants to give you, so that you can create a flawless life. So you can create a life of flow, one that goes much easier, one that shows you that you are powerful, one that shows you that you have this co-creative relationship. Law of inspired action, man. Just get up and do something. I always say this, and I live by this. The pain of regret of not doing what you say you want to be, not doing what you say you want to do, is so much worse than actually getting up and doing the shit you say you want to do, especially when it comes to exercise or anything like that. Just do it. You're always going to feel better for doing it. Always. 100,000%. You're always going to feel better after you meditate. You're always going to set a foundation of higher frequency when you do these things. And no, you won't regret it. You absolutely won't regret it. So Just do it. Just do it. All right. So letting go of the control and desperate energy is part of quieting that mind. No longer, love when I can read my writing. Watching the energy field, no longer living in fear. You're not living in fear anymore. You're not forcing, you're not pushing. You're actually looking for the signs from the universe. You're connecting with that co-creative partnership and trusting the guidance and the opportunities that come, the guidance and opportunities that are lined up for you. It's all a setup. Remember, the universe is orchestrating for you consistently throughout every day. You just have to be aware of it and ask for it and connect with it. One of my favorites, oh, that's from the last show. All right, I think that was okay. So I got a few more to close up the show here with. Okay, so the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, that actually is one of my favorites because I just love the way it sounds. Perpetual transmutation of energy just sounds really smart. I feel really smart when I say it. Every action is preceded by a thought. Thoughts have the power to manifest. Now, every thought doesn't manifest, but what does manifest is the emotion. So the thoughts evoke the emotion. Remember, energy is in motion. Emotion, energy in motion equals emotion. So your thoughts evoke the emotion activates the energy. That's the vibration. The emotion is the vibration. So everything is in constant flux in the universe. And because of that, we have the ability to be positive uplifters. We have the ability to transmute energy by our energy field. How many times have you made people feel better just by your presence? I hope you're doing that. I really do. I do it a lot and I love it. I've been told I'm a breath of fresh air and I love that. I actually really love that. So it's not something that I'm not going to say I don't consciously do it, but it's part of who I am. So if you want to become more of a lighthearted person, then you have to start lightening up your life. You got to let go of the heavy things. You got to let go of the heavy emotions. Become a meditator. Reach for the light, reach for the fun, reach for the joy, reach for the funny shows, reach for the funny people. Because the more you do that, remember, like attracts like, the more you do that, the more you're going to find that. And if you're not in it, if you're not feeling it, if you're in a bad mood, sometimes it's just good to take a nap, honestly. Reset, recalibrate, go out in the sun. I don't think I mentioned that, but sunshine, wow, sunshine is really good for you. I don't care what they say. All right. Law of compensation. This is another one that I really love, and that's about reaping what you sow. So we live in a society where, we charge and people got to pay us, and there's all this exchange of energy, and we're constantly tallying, what I did for you and what you did for me. I hope you're not doing that because that's just, first of all, in marriage, it's like a minefield if you're doing that, if you're keeping score. In any relationships, really, it's a minefield because the law of compensation says we will always be compensated. We'll be compensated for our kindness, we'll be compensated for our love, because remember, that energy, that frequency that we're putting out, it's met. It is met. It is a alignment. It is a frequency. It is a radio station that you are dialed into. So as you give, the law of receiving is there, that give and take, like I was talking about. Now, if you're giving to try to get, this is where I think this law gets a little wonky and doesn't really work correctly. If you're giving to get, that kind of, I think it nullifies the law, because giving to get means you're just giving because you want something. And it's just a yucky energy involved with that. So if you're just giving and you're just loving, that's a beautiful energy to be in. If you're giving because you're trying to get love, that's another thing that makes that law really wonky. So check in with your intentions. See what you're actually giving from. Is it the goodness of your heart? Is it because you love? Is it because you just want to make the world a better place? A lot of what I do is just for that. And sometimes I can feel a little out of balance with it. And sometimes I can feel a little whacked out from it. And I'm just like, okay, I keep giving and I keep giving and I keep giving. I think I had an example last episode about giving to a Facebook group that I felt like I wasn't necessarily getting anything from. Check in with those things, because if you're constantly giving, eventually you're going to end up resentful. because of the imbalances. So check in with that constant giving and make sure that you're a little bit more balanced out. If you have small kids, you're going to have to give to yourself. Okay. You can't only give, you must know how to receive. That's super important. And the law of rhythm is the last thing I wanted to talk about. And the reason why I want to talk about the law of rhythm, it's about the seasons, it's about the change in our environment, the change in our own lives. The law of rhythm is all about ebbs and flows. And I think we can trip ourselves up and get stuck in some of the ebbs when we don't feel like life is necessarily manifesting as fast as we want it to. Or there's quiet times. We have quiet times in life where things aren't so crazy, and then the energy ramps up again because it's the seasons of life. In winter we slow down. We tend to eat a little heavier foods. We tend to stay in more because it's cold. It's darker earlier, so we tend to go to bed earlier. It's a time of replenishment. It's a time of quiet. It's a time to reflect and to get ready for the season of spring where we're going to blossom and where we're going to expand and grow some more. So understanding the law of rhythm means that you get that sometimes life isn't this like, wow, manifestation after manifestation and excitement. Sometimes it's just about like being satisfied with what is and being in the element of gratitude every day because of all that you do have. And, not to say that you shouldn't be in inspired action, because you absolutely should, but sometimes there's this ebb and flow of balance. I've definitely been through it in my life. In fact, this podcast happened because I was in one of those ebbs, and I had another podcast that had ended and it wasn't moving anymore. It didn't end. I actually ended up putting an end to it because it wasn't moving the way I wanted it to move. And I just felt like this burst of inspiration that I couldn't stop. I was like, I just have too much to say. I've got to do this on my own. And obviously, you can see 85 episodes later, I do have a lot of shit to say. So knowing that there's the ebbs and the flows makes those ebbs a little easier to navigate, where you're not beating yourself up and you're not telling yourself that you're no good and you're not telling yourself that life sucks and then you die. You're actually navigating it in a way that's like, okay, I'm going to use this time to reflect. I'm going to use this time to meditate. I'm going to use this time to get to know myself better. I'm going to use this time for personal development. And then I'm going to work on my inspired action. So anything that's calling to me, I'm going to put a little energy activation towards it. But I'm not going to go gangbusters right now because I understand the law of rhythm and the seasons of life. And that is the law of rhythm. All right, so those are my, let's see, I probably should have counted these up. 1, 2, I'm going to put that in the title, how many laws I have here. 1, 2, I think there was 5. Those are, to me, those are the laws that I really live from. Those are the laws that I pay attention to the most and remind myself of the most, because those are the ones that are like, hands on. There's other ones. You can listen to episode 44 again if you're interested in all the laws of the universe. But I thought, you know what, a little tight show on these super duper activating laws that really work with the law of attraction and law of manifestation would be super helpful. So I do have a little mini course that's launching today. It's the Mindful Manifestation mini course. If you are interested, I still have that initial course that is on my website for $57. I will send you the recording. Comes with a guided meditation, comes with a writing prompt, super good for focus, super good to just, change the energy up and activate some new energy. And then the mini course launches today, and that will also be available as a recording. Moving forward, I'm not sure when I will launch that as just a recording. But if you want to be a part of it today, November 2nd, 2022, you can email me, livelifegolden@gmail.com, and I can still get you in there. We've got a little group of 8 that we're going to Zoom together at 4 p.m. Pacific, and I'm super excited about that. You're probably past the time by the time I get this out, but I can send you the recording. It's yours to keep. There's going to be guided meditations, release work, a teaching, really impactful stuff, guys. Like, I've done this with many women only, which is so funny. I've never had any men join these courses. I think men are just all set, I guess. But so many women go through this, and like the exponential growth that we do within a very short time, it always blows my mind. And I don't know why it blows my mind, because I've done the work. So I understand, like, I've done this with my life. So I get it. But watching other people do it is so gratifying. And it's exponential because we all grow. And as I teach, I learn more, so it's super fun. So let me know if you want to be a part of that. I have Mindful Manifestation Secrets is on Amazon. If you've read it, if you want to read it, let me know. I'll give you a free Kindle or a free PDF copy. I'm still looking for reviews. We're still looking to get that review thing up. So if you haven't reviewed me yet, just hit me up, send me a message, and I'll send you the direct link. Otherwise, you can just click on Amazon and review it there. Really, really, really helps the sale of the book and where it goes on Amazon. I also have Quantum Speak for Parents, which is about my parenting journey and the law of attraction in parenting, also available on Amazon. So that's all about me. And let me know if you have questions. I am here for you. My group on Facebook is Manifest to Live Life Goldyn, where you can see my daily post. M21 Revolution is our meditation group. And I'm also on Instagram at Live Life Goldyn, and also TikTok and YouTube. Hey, go subscribe to YouTube. I want some more YouTube followers. I actually have a very exciting show that's going to be launching pretty soon, with a pretty amazing guy on YouTube. So I'm excited about that. So get over to YouTube, subscribe for me, and let's get that going. All right. I love y'all. Peace out.